Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast that makes ancient wisdom relevant today. I'm your host, Raghunath, with co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York City, Kastubadas. Welcome to the show. This is episode 1356. I'm here live with a crew here. We got the Bombay girls are in town.
It's amazing, the Bombay girls.
It's out of context.
Yeah,
I'm not used to seeing the
surreal.
Bombay girls outside of Bombay. It doesn't make sense. When they go to, sometimes they fit within the context, they go to the GEV. Sometimes I see them at Govardhan Hill. They're repeated live characters on the Wisdom of the Sages, but they are here at Super Soul Farm this week as they're doing a little tour of America. And we also got Brooke from the Harmony Collective who's here today. She's hanging here too.
Oh, wow, Brooke, that's awesome.
Yeah. We're going to engage these guys in what they do best is, let's see, Brooke's a pastry chef.
I know that.
See if I can get a vegan cannoli.
High
out of
level.
her.
She's a high-level pastry chef.
She's a high level. All right.
She was recruited by Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, really? How did that work out?
I don't think she did. I think she turned him down.
Good for you. To work with him. You got to like the people you work with because you're going to be around.
I don't think she disliked him. You can find out from her. Maybe he puts on that image during the show, like where he's like,
oh yeah, he might be very. What do you think? Is he nice? He's very, very nice.
See,
that's his person. That's a TV
television,
persona, perhaps.
Yeah.
You really have to love the people you're working with because you're with them sometimes more than your own family. What do you think about that?
Yeah, love the one you're with.
Right, like Linda. She's corporate. She knows this, right?
Yes.
You gotta, and sometimes you can get some real monster who's your boss.
You gotta love the monster.
You don't have to love the monster. You gotta.
So you do. You were just saying.
You gotta manage the monster.
Okay.
Just like sort of like deal with how I'm going to let that in my life.
All right.
Anyway, the Bombay girls here. Me and Udi had a little cookout last night. We were going to sleep under the stars, but it started to rain, so we had to back out at the 11th hour. But
I would be interested to hear the Bombay girls' impression of the Super Soul Farm.
Well, come on down.
Have they even been to
Amir
the
and
States
Chaitanya
before?
here? What's that?
They've
never been here?
Wow.
Here they are.
So,
come on, you got to talk right
here.
I'm close. You got.
How do you like America?
Okay, so this is Mira.
Hare Krishna. Hi, we're missing you here.
Miss you.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Happy to see you and be here at Soul Farm because every time we see you all out from here and we wonder what does this place look like, and so glad that you could make it.
Is it it's different type of beauty than Indian beauty there, right?
Absolutely. The whole journey to Soul Farm was so mesmerizing.
Oh, it's beautiful
So
to drive
beautiful
up in the
and-
summer.
Oh,
Did you drive or did you take a train?
Yeah, we did drive with Ishwari. So yeah, from New York to New
It's-
Jersey to here. Yeah,
It's a beautiful landscape, isn't it?
it is better than the movies we've seen from Hollywood.
Okay.
Better than the movies. All right. Well, that's good. So you think maybe I'm like Brad Pitt or better than Brad Pitt?
They're talking about the landscape of upstate New York, Raghunath. I don't know how it came to you being
Humans and
better than Brad
animals are
Pitt.
part of the landscape as well.
I see.
And they joined a good, it was 4th of July yesterday. So we had a 4th of July cookout. What was your, yeah, that was right out of the movies too. Come close so people can see your smiling face. So how was your 4th of July cookout?
It was interesting because we saw them cook on the fire outside the home and
the barbecue
Yeah,
setup. Yeah,
barbecue
the mushroom was great. Yeah, Raghunath can cook.
Mushroom?
Now,
Raghunath, what are you having doing there?
Drilling me about cooking mushrooms.
What are you
Guess
doing
what?
over there?
They're magical.
That's what I'm afraid of. Magic mushrooms.
Yeah, there were brownies. I love the brownies he made me eat.
All right.
Made by Mara. So yeah, thanks, Mara.
Oh, have you have you seen sheep like that before?
I don't think
in
they saw
India
the
you get
sheep yet. They
like that.
came late. The sheep were in the back.
Okay.
No.
Seen the horses yet?
There's
We
no
have no
horses.
horses.
Got news for you.
That's why you haven't seen them.
All right. Are you coming to New York, to the city?
Yes, on the 8th, we'll be in New York.
Okay, great. Maybe we can have dinner at Divya's together, something like that.
That'll be wonderful.
Hey,
Yeah.
maybe you could bring down my olive oil. Busted, Ragana.
There was an expiration date on that. You don't get
I
it
think
within
we just
5
slipped in. I
days.
think we just slipped within it.
All right.
We will be at the Bhakti Center. We'll love to see all of you there.
Yeah.
whoever
Oh,
is in
bring it to the Bhakti Center. Yeah, and I'll see you there. And get that olive oil from Raghunath. He's
Perfect.
thief.
What time?
We'll figure that out. We'll
Yeah.
contact
We
me.
don't have to make details on the show. We are live for a few thousand people here this morning, but don't they have an interesting English accent where you can't even understand what they're saying? It's sort of like
English?
Americans love listening to it. We just can't figure out what you say. But it's perfect English. It's just done in
better
a
than
different,
ours.
interesting cadence that I can't follow. But
Unfortunate because now I have the kind of English that nor can Indians understand and nor can Americans. So I don't know what to do with it.
I understand totally everything you're saying. No problem.
I don't. No. Well, thanks for being here, and welcome to Super Soul Farm.
Very happy to be here. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, excited and hope to see you all soon. So over here or in New York.
That's great.
All right. They had a positive experience in New York.
Do
and
they
we're not.
swim? Because I know a lot of Indian people
Indians,
don't swim.
do you guys swim? They do swim.
Okay,
What?
maybe you got to
You're
take them to
breaking the
that.
stereotype, ladies.
Take them to
All
that
right.
little lake that
Are you
goes-
kidding? I'm just gonna have my kids throw them in the pond.
All right. Oh, yeah, there's a kund there.
The
All right,
little
Raghu.
coon.
Announcements, right? Announcements. We got to keep this moving here.
I'm ready
What-
for the announcements.
You got an
Yeah.
announcement there, Linda's here spinning the dials this week for Miss Mara, who's out on a safari. Every day I get pictures of giraffes and
wild stuff.
baboons, and
Yesterday, I couldn't believe the stuff she was sending.
I know a lion was circling their
Lions.
vehicle.
And the zebras.
I'm at the age where I just don't play around with stuff like this.
No.
You get to at a certain age, you're like, okay, interesting. Yeah, definitely want to do that. And I'm bungee jumping. Yeah, zip lines. I'm at the age I was like, no, I know too much.
The guides there are so good though,
I
and
know
they
too
really
much.
respect and love the animals. So
Okay.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
yes. Okay, how about some announcements? So we've got a Bhakti Recovery Group meeting today at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow's show is Q&A day. So please, if you have any questions, send them to wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com.
All right.
Okay, that's at 8 a.m. Eastern time.
8
tomorrow.
a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Do we want to announce who the interview is with on Sunday?
We have a
Prabhu?
Chuta Gopi lined up for Sunday. Someone we wanted to have for a long time.
Yeah, so
Great.
very excited about that.
Powerful
And
kirtan singer, writer, award-winning
Author.
poet. Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, that's gonna be
And
good.
then just a reminder that Raghu, Mara, and Kastuba are taking a spiritual pilgrimage to sacred India, October 17th through the 31st. So they'll explore the holy cities of Jagannath Puri, Udaipur, Nathdwar, Rishikesh, Haridwar, and Govardhan, Vrindavan. So check out all the details. They're on Raghunath.yoga, and they're on wisdomofthesages.com. So check it out there and register.
Alrighty. That's
Perfect.
great. You know, I'm getting heat now from the message board. Our 10-year-old from
Yeah.
Lebanon is between
Mushrooms.
Kostuba and the 10-year-old. They're going to come down on me for the mushrooms.
Yeah, I was just concerned that maybe it was magic mushrooms. That's what my particular concern.
I think all mushrooms have an element of magic in them.
Do they?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding?
Some are more magic than others. Raghunath.
Some are a little bit more magical than others.
Okay.
Okay.
You ready for the nugget?
Of sorts, I am.
That means you're not.
Are you kidding, Prabhu? I'm always ready. This
All
one's from C.S. Lewis.
No, it's not. That was yesterday.
That was yesterday's. I'm not.
Okay. Are you kidding me? What, do you want me to read it?
I need you to read it today.
You unfamiliar with
I
it?
don't think you sent it.
Maybe I didn't send it.
That's what it is. You're trying to get me in trouble. You didn't even send it.
Are you sure? Maybe I didn't send it. Anyway, here it is.
Behind the
right?
scenes of
This
Wisdom
is
of the
from
Sages.
this is from H. Jackson Brown Jr., which I think he has no relation to Jackson Brown, the singer.
Okay.
He's a writer. He's an American author who is best known for his inspirational book called Life's Little Instruction Book.
Oh,
It makes you want to buy
nice
that
little
book, right?
instructions.
Okay, this is what he says. It's simple, it's short, but I think it's pertinent. Ready?
Yeah.
Earn your success based on service to others, not at the expense of others. Life's
Earn-
little instruction.
Earn your success
Based on
based
service
on
to
service
others,
to others.
not at the expense of others. Go. Maybe I should
So,
go.
We have this. I'm digesting it. I'm digesting it.
Processing.
We have this idea. This was big in the 80s. I was getting interviewed yesterday for a couple of podcasts, and one thing I was talking about is there was a big push in the 80s, and it still has left over today, to this idea of a potentiality movement that was going on, that was in the conversation. Like, you got to live up to your potential. You're not doing enough. You can do more, whether it's physical or the things you're putting out in this world, or your career, or in the workplace, or athleticism, or intelligence, or music, or art. You need to do more.
Yeah.
And it's different. We look at it differently. We believe that you should, if you do more, but you miss the point, it makes no difference. It makes no difference how far and how fast you've driven
Okay.
if you've missed the exit.
Well, what is
So-
the exit? What is the point?
Well, we said the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. And
What is
that
the main thing?
And the main thing is love of God is the goal of life.
Okay.
Krishna Prema is the goal of life. Now, if in that goal where Krishna is the center, you could do so many wonderful things. Whether it's be this wonderful preacher of the holy name, giving the holy name to so many people, or you have a incredible productive career, or you're an incredible athlete, or incredible artist, or you're doing everything with that goal in mind. Now, if you've missed that goal, all these other wonderful things you've accomplished will have missed the actual point. It's like going very fast in a very fast car and making incredible time going nowhere fast.
Okay, now tie this into Jackson Brown over here.
Say the quote again.
Earn your success based on service to others, not at the expense of others.
Okay, so this is where I was going with that.
All right.
So sometimes we step into a role of, say, leadership. And some of us have a calling. We feel like, well, I'm a leader, but how am I going to lead people? We don't want you just to do your Dharma. We don't want you just to do what you're good at. Because let's face it, there's been very powerful leaders. You got the Mussolini, Stalin, Lenin, powerful leaders. But how did they lead people? They led people, which caused chaos, which caused pain, which caused horrific tragedies. So not just step into what you do good, but step into your service that's bringing you to love of God, and you have this ripple effect that everybody else in the universe that you touch is also being touched in a positive way, in an evolutionary way. So when we step into our life like that, where everybody is growing, where everybody's feeling served, then that is actually our full potential. Not the converse, where I've lived my potential, but it's so many people's expenses. That's how I try to tie it in with what I was talking about yesterday in my podcast.
Oh. All
Yeah.
right. What podcast was that?
One was called the Blessings podcast, and one was called Forbidden Science podcast.
Oh.
I like that. That was fun.
Forbidden.
That was fun.
Is it forbidden pseudoscience? Is that why it's forbidden?
What
Just
is
checking.
science? What is science?
Okay.
Wait, let's talk about that first. What is science? The word science means to know.
Okay.
So once you start to say that we know, like this is really scientific, what do you actually know? we have trying to find perfect knowledge with imperfect senses. So the idea of like we can actually figure it out, and this is locked down, and this is what the science is. Well, hey, they thought the world was flat a few hundred years ago, and then science
I
came
shouldn't
around.
have asked this question.
That was the scientific standard.
All right.
And now
All
now they think, oh well, the world
All
is
right.
round.
I'm just
So
curious.
science from the human's point of view is constantly changing. And then there's science that people it just doesn't fit into the there's an information filter, and there's certain sciences there they won't even bother exploring. We're not going to once you speak about God, that's forbidden science.
Gotcha. Okay.
Once you talk about God, they don't even, you're just a child, you're dogmatic, you're a religious fundamentalist.
But not everybody's like that. I think it's
Well, we have this whole
gradually
conversation.
shifting.
I agree. Like we
Okay,
have this
but let's
whole
not get too into
conversation.
that, Ragnar, because we're
Well,
gonna.
you challenged me.
I know. But I
Challenge
was
me, and
expecting
I'm
a
here
quick
to
answer.
rise to the occasion.
I was expecting a quick answer.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're not going to get that from me. I'm a deep thinker.
All right. Or a big talker, one of the two, or both.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay. So I just want to share this about Jackson Brown here, about earning your success. You know, I think maybe a lot of us just take it for granted that we have to earn our successes. You know, you enter a marketplace, you know, and you think, well, there's competitors there, and
Yeah.
we're going to have to fight for it. And there's an element of that in our life, but you know, one really has to kind of be real careful with that, because the spiritual the person that's trying to cultivate these deeper understandings about who I am, what this world is,
Yeah.
what lessons am I supposed to learn, what do I have to let go of, what am I supposed to understand more deeply? You know, a lot of that has to do, and this you're going to find this across the different wisdom traditions, different spiritual traditions. A lot of it has to do with how we relate to others. You know, if we're real callous in how we relate to others, we're going to be callous to spiritual understanding. You know, so, you know, when Krishna is speaking about what pleases him the most, who pleases him, he mentions, you know, people that move through this world without causing any kind of anxiety or pain for other people, you know, and that's a challenge in the world, because we do have to maintain ourselves, you know, economically. We do have to take care of ourselves, you know, physically, etc. It'll be a challenge, but it has to rise in our, you know, on our list of priorities to learn to live that way. And a lot of that has to do with what Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita will call this. I call it like a mastery, like this of what he calls antah sukha, this realization that my true happiness is something that's within me. It's not derived from anything external. You know, that Krishna will speak about this again and again in the Bhagavad Gita. And the idea is that once you kind of master that way of thinking, you get relieved of so much unnecessary anxiety, unnecessary endeavor. It's like a huge burden off your back.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that you deeply imbibe this idea that your happiness isn't just dependent on anything external, then you kind of get it that, you know, everything I need is here. Everything I need is within. And I don't have to impose my needs on others. You know, I don't, whether it's competing in the marketplace or whether it's kind of even like emotionally or in our different ways, kind of like imposing our needs, being dependent on others for our needs. And you become free of that. And when you become free of that, you'll be actually free. You'll create the space that you need, free up space in your mind, free up space in your heart to actually think of others, be respectful to others, care for others, and serve for others. And so that creates a whole new formula, right? Like, I need to earn my happiness. I need to gain my happiness. I'm going to have to, well, others are going to have to suffer, and that's going to be their problem, but we're all thrown into this mess together. But no, now you're like, my success now will be how well I can serve others, how much I can contribute, you know, to the good of others, not at the expense, right? I don't need to take. Horace Jackson Brown Jr. Raghunath. The little
I'm gonna
life's little instruction book.
I'm gonna chew on this. It's
All
a
right.
good quote.
Chew on it. Chew on
You
it.
made a good point.
Thank you.
You got
You
a
did
good
too.
point there, Kastuba.
You did as well, Raghunath. Thank
How are you doing, by the way? You
I'm
okay?
tired. I'm tired. Do I look bad? Are you asking? Why did you ask me that
You
question?
look pert.
Okay.
Because I care about you.
Thank you, Raghunath.
Just checking in. I'm excited for California. We're going to California. You, me, Mara, Linda.
Yeah, let's not make it another announcement, though. We're done with the announcements.
I know. I'm just talking. I'm just talking to
Okay.
you like a
All right.
friend.
All right,
Friends
great.
talk.
I'm looking forward to that too.
Right?
We're gonna get an Airbnb together.
Some people think that Linda and Mara might be competitive. They're not. They're like best friends.
Who says that?
I'm
Nobody
just trying to stir the pot here.
Okay.
They're going after each other. Linda's going after Mara's job.
Nobody thinks
Neither
that.
of them want that job.
Okay.
They're
We're
You do
support
it. No, you do
systems
it.
for you.
That's
I
right.
just
they're
want to be
support
her.
systems.
I just want to be the servant of the servant. Bravo.
Oh,
Look at that. You see, she's realized it, right? She's
I
getting those deeper realizations about life.
Okay, you know now what? Guess what, Linda? If you want the official job of Mara while she's in Africa, you are now officially on the hot seat today.
Oh, we're gonna.
So be prepared. We're gonna grill you.
Okay.
As soon as I said that, Henry lit up. We're gonna grill you too, Henry. You've been around a long time. You better
Whoa.
have some answers.
And remember, we're supposed to not put people in anxiety. Right now, hot seat is fine.
You know
but
what? It's different.
mood
It's
has to be right.
Transcendental anxiety. It means you're
Okay.
trying to you're freaking out in anxiety about Krishna.
Is it about?
That's a
Krishna?
good anxiety. That's how
Okay.
we should be in anxiety. How can I serve Krishna? How can I think of Krishna better?
Right. Oh, I'm seeing what Karuna said. She says mushrooms are ignorance, Raghunath, and her dad told her that.
You know what? I'm not going to go against her dad. Her dad
Okay.
is very wise, but her dad has never been to a
Prabhupada,
vegan barbecue.
actually, he didn't entirely forbid them, but he said generally Vaishnavas do not eat mushrooms because they're tamasic.
They're tamasic, yeah.
But
But
it wasn't
tamasic, but not forbidden.
not
what I
forbidden.
like to say,
Not
not
absolutely forbidden.
Yeah,
Not
so let's just
absolutely.
drop it then. Let's just drop it.
You see, now
What
that's
do you
how
say
we
we
lose
just
our
drop
culture.
it? Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get into Bhagavatam. We're gonna let's keep this moving here.
Dipped them in olive oil and sea salt and just threw them on the
Sauteed them.
grill.
Oh, on the grill, you grilled them.
We're grilling. We're sitting out there grilling. And
What about some zucchini? What do you got in the garden?
Zucchini.
What do you got in the garden?
Zucchini, did broccoli. Making broccoli.
Do you grill it?
I didn't grill the
Are
broccoli.
you the grill master? Like, do you got a little apron?
No, I cook on fire. I don't use gas. I cook on fire.
Well, that's what I mean. Don't you put a grill on top of the fire?
Yeah,
then?
put a grill on top of it.
Okay, so are you the grill
I even made
master?
chapatis. I even made chapatis on the grill.
Fantastic. Is
Yeah.
it kind of like an identity that you own when the people are there and like I'm the guy that's working the grill, or is it?
No, I'm not like that so much. But I do take the captain's chair.
Okay. You're the man of the house there. Grill master would be a natural role that you would play. Although I'm sure Mara would play that role very well.
Yes, she does. But yes. All right,
Okay.
let's go on, Kastuba.
Yeah.
Narayanam namaskrityanam chaivanarottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tatojayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Every time I point to you, guys are supposed to say it. And to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated. And loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Okay, the Bombay girls have flunked the trivia.
No, hot seat.
The hot seat. All right.
Bombayites. What do they call them? Mumbakars.
What do they call them? Bombayites.
Or Mumbai cars, isn't it?
Mumbai cars.
The Mumbai cars should be able to handle the heat.
Yeah, come on, girls. You grew up with this stuff. Oh, you know what? Mira, actually, I just found this out. She might have told me before, but Chaitanya said she was trying. You guys are sisters.
A third Mumbai.
Yeah. So
girl.
Chaitanya was no. Chaitanya was trying to preach to her sister for like 8 years.
She's
But
coming
Mira-
to straighten this out. Raghunath.
Yeah,
She's
but
coming.
Mira, you want to explain the story here? It's very interesting. Your older sister was preaching to you for 8 years.
Yes, and then she would invite me to her house programs and Bhagavad Gita classes. She's an amazing cook, so I would go to the house times to get some prasad. But other than
That's how
that,
it happens.
for the entire 8 years, I did not feel attracted beyond the prasad.
Okay.
And
So it's a
Not
little bit of a
attracted
slow
beyond the
development,
prasad.
but
I
okay. all
don't
right.
love God, but I love pakoras. I get that.
yeah, and then she would also make really nice cheesecake.
Oh.
Yeah, if anybody has recommendations for New York cheesecake, and if that's the real thing, please let me know.
Stay
But
on topic. Don't squirrel off here.
I'd love, I'd love that.
Come back, come back, come back.
Okay, yeah. So, but she'd introduced me to Janvi Harrison music, like Janvi Harrison's music, and I was following her on Instagram. And that's when she shared in one of her stories about wisdom of the sages. That was in the thick of the pandemic. And yeah, I started listening to the podcast, and that's how I even realized that
I
Bhagavatam is
see.
something that you could consume on a daily basis, and it could be fun. So here I am.
Wow. Okay.
That should be our tagline. Not
First
making
prasadam.
spiritual topics relevant, ancient wisdom relevant. It should be making spiritual topics fun.
Oh, okay. How about first prasad, then us?
Yeah, I mean,
Chaitanya's like, well, it's not just the prasad or the wisdom of the sages. I prayed for her too. My prayers are powerful. Okay. Everyone's
It's
got
all
their.
important. It's
Everyone's
all
like, no, it
important.
was me. No, it was me. I'm like, no, it was me. That's why I made her laugh. That's why. Because she was like, it was my philosophy. And Chaitanya's like, it's my prayers. She's got nothing to do with it. We made her a devotee. Every people say that. I
Alright.
made her a devotee.
I've
Be
heard
a
that.
devotee right now.
Okay. Every God
Okay.
works through many channels.
Yeah. Sometimes God tags a person, a podcast, a
prasadam,
Pakora. Person,
Pakora.
podcast, and Pakora. That's the magic three.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mira.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah. Well, she said I'd go to the temple, and I couldn't relate to anybody. Then they'd say, "Well, we'll get a devotee to explain the Bhagavatam to you." And like that was even also. This is all stuff that was just too thick and dense. She said.
Right.
Well, I said so. She said I'm too stupid to understand it. I said that's why Krishna sent me. I'm the avatar of stupidity.
Okay. Now, Karuna has clarified on the board that she's not criticizing you, Raghunath. She's
Oh my
just
God,
encouraging
she's still
you to
after
stop.
me. She's still after me
Because they're in the mode of
I'm getting
ignorance.
hit by a 10-year-old fundamentalist here.
She's
Raghu,
like,
you are using Prabhupada's instruction to let mushroom eating go a little bit for people that
a little bit
can't
too far,
stop
I think she says.
and using it in a way to enjoy mushrooms. Raghu, I'm not chastising you. I'm just encouraging you to stop because you are in the mode of ignorance.
Take this in, Raghunath, without resisting. Just hear her message from the mouths of babes. Okay? Hear it. Take it in.
Me and
Process
Karuna,
it.
we go head to head sometimes.
Process it. Raghunath. Accept it into your life. And then do what you wish to do.
All
That's the way Krishna said it to Arjuna, right? And then
I
maybe-
am. I already did. I'm already
No.
doing what I wish to do. Now back off.
No.
Back off, you mushroom bandits. All right,
Okay.
let's continue on here. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 11, Text 28.
Yeah, I think we should finish this chapter today. Let's make some.
We're actually on Text 29, I think.
I think it was 28. This one had the caveat at the end of it that we were looking for.
That's the
Yeah.
one I mentioned yesterday, right?
You mentioned the caveat.
Yeah. The caveat was about a chaste woman. They should not be greedy, but satisfied in all circumstances. Very expert at handling household affairs, and should be fully conversant with religious principles.
I mean, I bow down to women like that. I really do.
It's the hardest job. You ever hear Bill Burr talk
No,
about it?
it brings
It's
stability
the hardest job.
and peace of
Not
mind.
like being a coal
joy,
miner. Not like being a
love.
coal miner or doing roofing in July. Those aren't hard jobs.
We're gonna. You don't have to. That's neither here nor there. Okay. Nobody said it was the hardest job here. Okay. But I'm just saying it's
Okay.
an important role in society,
She should speak pleasingly.
and it is a hard
truthfully.
job. Okay. Now go on.
She should speak pleasingly and truthfully, and should be
Oh,
very careful and always clean and pure.
This brings so much auspiciousness into the household, into the world.
Then
Now the
why does it
caveat.
ruffle feathers so
Now the
much?
caveat.
Thus, a chaste woman should engage with affection in the service of a husband who is
Here's
not fallen.
who is not fallen. That's the point.
Okay.
So all this stuff has been assuming that you have someone really qualified to serve, and if that person's not, then no. It's not like
Yeah.
this is some slave that's just, we're not. Everybody's got to live up to their responsibilities, right? Everybody's got to work
Everybody-
together selflessly,
Sure.
with caring for one another sincerely. That's how it all works.
Sure. I was just listening to Radha Swami this morning. He was telling the story about Chitraketu. And Chitraketu, because he neglected his other queens and just favored the one queen, they all developed envy because he was not doing what he was not being supportive. He was not playing his role, and that creates envy in
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
household.
Well, he had a
So
lot
he
of
w-
wives. It's hard to hold up that kind of responsibility.
And yeah. Anyway, Maharaj was making that point. Like everyone's got to pull their weight.
Pull it.
All right.
By the way, Karuna says that she's saying that it's mushrooms are in the mode of ignorance, not you necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Of course,
If it
the
makes you
fact that
feel any
you're-
better, I'm in the mode of ignorance.
the fact I was going to say the fact that you're attracted to them might indicate that to some degree you've fallen under the
You
influence of
two should just get together.
it.
You and
All right.
Karuna.
Text 29.
The woman who engages in the service of her husband, following strictly in the footsteps of the goddess of fortune, right? Because she's serving Vishnu,
Divine
surely returns home back to Godhead with her devoted husband, with her devotee husband, and lives very happily in the Vaikuntha planets.
Okay.
Truthfully, if everybody's not playing the roles in life, this whole
all
little
falls apart.
section, the whole thing falls apart. Everybody's got a role
right.
to play.
Raghunath,
know.
you got your hands like right in the camera here. Let's see
Okay.
your face. There you go.
Everyone's got a role to play. People don't play their roles, period. Now, of course, these are generalizations. Generalizations don't always
Play
fit,
out.
but there's a reason why there are generalizations.
Because
People say,
they're
well, you
generally
can't
true.
make generalizations. Of course you can. Insurance companies make generalizations. Like my daughter pays less for insurance for a car than my son. Why? Because they made a generalization that boys, when they're 16, are much crazier than girls when they're 16. That's a generalization. And sometimes they're useful by insurance companies. And they base their whole system of
It's profiling.
it is profiling. Come on. We talk about you
Okay,
shouldn't profile,
let's-
but you shouldn't
let's-
profile.
we're
Of
gonna-
course you should
let's-
profile.
let's not go-
Everybody's telling their children to
I shouldn't even got
profile.
it started.
Got to be careful. You're in a parking garage alone. Profile. If there's somebody walking behind you, is they
Profile.
walking fast? An animal profiles. Everybody instinctually profiles. And if they don't, they're setting themselves up for danger. Of course you got to profile.
All right. All right. Thank you for that, Raghunath. Now let's keep going. Now we've heard about Dharma for men, for women, for Brahmanas, for Kshatriyas, for Shudras, for Vaishyas. Now we're going to get to the people that are not even in those categories, that aren't really following the Vedic outline here. Because there's going to be plenty of those people too in society. What about them?
Yeah. The mutts. That's me.
I wouldn't call them necessarily a mutt. It has nothing to do with breeding.
It is. It's exactly that. Among the mixed classes known as Sankara, those who are not thieves are known as antah vashayi or chandolas, dog eaters. There's a class of people that ate dogs.
Yeah.
And they
And?
also have their hereditary customs.
Okay.
So everybody's got customs.
Yeah.
You know,
They may not be.
come hang out with my Italian family on Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter. They got customs.
You know what, Raghunath?
They're not dog eaters, but they're not far from it.
Okay. Here we're about to hear, like, in many ways, part of the reason why the whole Hinduism thing is so confusing is because it's complex. It's not simplistic in how it presents things. It's not like saying, here's the dogma, everybody accept it, or you go to hell forever. It's kind of like saying,
It is pretty simple. It is pretty simple, the Christian way. It's like, this is God, this is the Son of God.
Yeah.
Worship them. That's
You're-
the devil.
and you're good.
Devil does bad
Yeah.
things. Devil makes you go to the bad place. Christ makes you go to the good place.
Yeah, and it's
It is sort of like simple and easy to understand.
yeah. So this is more like we want to accommodate people on all different levels, and we get it that you can't just pound a square peg into a round hole.
Sure.
You've got to work with them where they're at, bring them up on different stages, different levels. So there's a difference between the Western mind and the Eastern mind when it comes to this kind of stuff. Now we're going to hear how, like, although Narada the sage just came in, he's speaking to Yudhishthira the king. He's laying out all the different categories, like personality types, and speaking to the responsibilities and the duties that they should carry out. And now he's going to talk about people that don't even fit into those categories, and he's going to accommodate their behavior, which is diametrically opposed to where this yoga path is going. Understanding that you can't, sometimes things only happen at the right time, and you can't force people, but there's still ways of kind of bringing them forward. So let's hear what he has to say.
Okay, I have to jump in here for a second.
Whenever you're ready, you go ahead and
Really
jump.
important. I had really something really important to say. Then Martine from the message board brought me in my brain in a different direction. I was going to say, hey, some of you are like, well, I wish it was more simple. I wish bhakti was more simple. I wish I'm worshiping Krishna or Balaram. Do I pray to Krishna or Balaram? Which one do I pray to? Or Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda? Which one? Panchatattva, but 5 of them. Which one do I pray to? This is so confused. Are demigods important? Are they not important? Should I overlook them all? Should I neglect them? Do I pray to a river? Am I praying to a river today? The whole thing can be confusing. I can keep it very simple. Always remember Krishna, never forget him. Boom. There you go. Simple. You want simple? But you got to understand, it's like the face of a clock. You want to tell time? There's the clock right there. It's 4:05 p.m. That doesn't mean behind the face of the clock, there's not intricate inner workings of that clock. So we can give you the simple. The simple's there. If all you want is simple, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. You see a flower, think of Krishna. You see the sunset, think of Krishna. Okay? But at the same time, you want to know deeper answers, we got you covered. We can take an entire clock.
And because Yudhishthira is a king and he's got all this responsibility, he needs these kind of answers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Narada's saying, hey, even these bands of dog eaters and so on, they've got their customs, and we don't necessarily just have to immediately tell them abandon your customs and change now. So let's hear what he says. Text 31. Hit it.
Okay. My dear king, Brahmanas, well conversed in Vedic knowledge, have given their verdict that in every age, a yuga, the conduct of different sections of people, according to the material modes of nature, is auspicious both in this life and after death.
I wonder if that means mushroom eating can actually be auspicious.
Now you're beating it. Now you're beating this.
What do you mean?
You've teased it out too far. When you tease your hair too much, your hair starts to come out.
That totally applies now.
Brahmanas, well conversed in Vedic knowledge, have given their verdict that in every age, the conduct of different sections of people according to the material modes of nature is auspicious both in this life and after death.
So following your duties is going to be auspicious. It's going to bring about good results. Let's continue. Come on, man.
If one in his profession, according to his position in the modes of nature, and gradually
if one acts in his position,
if one acts in his profession, according to his position in the modes of nature, and gradually gives up these activities, he attains the niskama stage, the stage where there's no karma.
You begin to act not based on your desire for external things. You perform your duties without, just because it's the right thing to do, rather than trying to gain something material from it. It's important. It's important aspect of yoga, real important. Bhagavad Gita has so much about that. Nishkama.
My dear king, if an agricultural field is cultivated again and again, the power of its production decreases. Maybe they didn't do enough permaculture then. And whatever seeds are sown there are lost.
Okay.
Just as drops of ghee on a fire never extinguish the fire, but a flood of ghee will similarly overindulge in lusty. Similarly, okay.
Similarly,
A flood of ghee will. If you put too much ghee
start
on,
it
it'll
again,
extinguish the
Ragas.
fire.
Start it again. We're getting two analogies here.
Just as drops of ghee on a fire never extinguish the fire, but a flood of ghee, right? You pour all the ghee on, it'll put the fire
Yeah,
out.
drops of ghee will just keep it feeding it. It'll keep it going. But if you pour a ton of ghee on it at one shot, you'll put the
extinguish.
fire out. Okay.
Similarly, overindulgence in lusty desires mitigates such desires entirely.
Sounds a little like Osho philosophy here. Osho.
It is.
Raghunath and I have this thing about Osho.
Whenever I would say something like completely ridiculous against all Vedic principles, and we'd go, Osho.
Osho.
Sometimes Osho says it's okay.
Because that's his philosophy. He's saying the only way to let go of your desires is to totally indulge in them. But
Yeah,
actually,
bring that to a 12-step meeting. See how that works for you, Osho.
that's kind of like dropping drops of ghee on the fire. You just keep feeding it. So, but it is
Addicted
interesting.
to heroin? Indulge in it.
Take more every day. So, but this is my understanding of what these two verses are saying. They've shared two analogies with us. One, and it's the idea is that there's some people that are not going to step up and enter into this social system and adopt the responsibilities of them. They're just from another background, and it's kind of beyond them, and they're not as so refined, and they're not ready to live that life. They have their own customs, and they indulge maybe in alcohol, maybe in this, maybe that, whatever it might be. So, but he says, but there is a way that they can gradually let go of these things. And so he gives two analogies. One, he says, if an agricultural field is cultivated again and again, the power of its production decreases. In other words, that's why they rotate crops, because different plants use different minerals from the soil. And if you keep planting the same plant in the same soil year after year, it becomes depleted of those minerals. And so therefore you rotate, right? Then you plant another plant that takes on other minerals and so on. So the same thing, if used again and again and again and again, its potency decreases. And then he uses the analogy also of the ghee. If you drop little amounts of ghee on something, it just keeps burning. But if you do it a lot, it might put it out in the same way that we might lose, someone that has lots of sex may say, enough. Someone that goes out and gets drunk every night, I can't do this anymore. So
Sure.
it's saying there's still hope in this way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a crazy way.
It's not the ideal way. It's definitely
not the
it's
ideal
not being
way.
recommended.
Indulgence. I've been there, done that. Indulged all my senses and feel disgusted with yourself, and you'll be like, "I'll never do that again."
Okay.
Until those desires come up again. Because what happens by indulging in that, it's like blowing in the fire. Last night I was cooking in the fire, so you blow in the fire to fan it, and the fire goes down, and then it goes very high. So what happens is they do go away for a moment, but they're triggered.
Come back.
And they come back even stronger than ever.
All right. Oh, they're throwing in a new analogy there, Roland. Thank you.
You like that?
Yeah. Now, text 35 is the last verse of chapter 11, and Narada is going to conclude it by this very important and often ignored Vedic instruction, essential instruction.
If one shows the symptoms of being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra, as described above, even if he has appeared in a different class, he should be accepted according to those symptoms of classification.
Okay, so that's so he's saying
What?
He's saying birth definitely it plays a large role in what we become, what we imbibe, what we get from our parents, what we get from our community. It's very likely that it shapes us to a large degree. But that being said, birth is not how we judge whether someone, what category someone fits in and what responsibilities they'll take up in life. Just because someone was born in a family of spiritual leaders doesn't mean that they're going to have the qualities to be a spiritual leader. Just because someone was born in a family of laborers doesn't mean they may not develop despite their family situation. It doesn't mean that they won't develop the qualities of a great spiritual leader. And so that must be considered, that if someone is not living up to their responsibilities, they can't claim, well, I was born a Brahmin, so therefore I am one. No. Prabhupada's going to speak about it in that comment. Do you want to read the commentary?
Herein it is certainly stated by Narada Muni that one should not be accepted as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra according to birth. For although this is going on now, it is not accepted by the Shastras.
Okay, so he's speaking against how the quote-unquote caste system is playing out currently in India.
Yeah. I am a Brahmana.
Are you truly? Yeah.
Really. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnya Maya Sristam Guna Karma Vibhaga Saha. Thus, the four divisions of society, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, are to be ascertained according to qualities and activities.
Yeah, your behavior and your qualities and your behavior, right?
Yeah, you got to earn it.
That's right.
My father can be a heart surgeon, and I can just say, "Oh, someone's got a bad heart. Bring him in here." Raghunath, are you qualified? Well, my dad's a heart surgeon. Just wheel him in. I can figure this out. No, I got to become qualified.
Ah.
It might help that he's a heart surgeon. Maybe he can give me some tips, some pro tips. But I got to figure it out. I got to become qualified. You
See, I
can't
said
just-
that. I said that to Sachi not long ago. I said, Sachi, you ever think about being a yoga teacher? Because I thought, hey, she's your daughter.
Yeah.
She's
What'd she say?
she's got so much background, background in India, background in yoga philosophy, just from growing up in your family.
And what
She's already got a huge head start on anyone else that wants to become a yoga teacher.
What did she say?
Sometimes, sort of, like she hadn't ruled it out, but
Yeah.
she wasn't pursuing it. She's considering it.
Yeah. Anyway, if one was
So it
born
would be an advantage for her,
it is an advantage, but you don't get it without earning
but it's
it.
not
That's what
enough.
we say.
Yeah, being
Yeah,
born
and that's
in-
why Americans inherently don't like this concept of a caste system, because we feel like that's unfair. You got to work for it. You want something, you got to work for it. It's sort of built into the American
That's right.
psyche.
And
And
here-
if you're born into something that is like less qualified, my father, he was just a manual laborer, but I want to become something better. He wanted me to become better than he is. We believe that you can grow into bigger shoes, so to speak. And the same is said here, that if you want to do this bigger things in life, you can. And if you want to be the head of the social order, you can. You just got to give up everything, and you got to be an intellectual who realizes that stuff isn't worth anything, and you have to voluntarily accept the position of poverty. Then you can be number one.
There you go. Okay, please continue, Raghunath.
In the purport. Thus, the four divisions of society, Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Sudra, are to be ascertained according to qualities and activities. If one was born in a Brahmana family and has acquired the Brahminical qualifications, he is to be accepted as a Brahmana. Otherwise, he should be considered a Brahmana Bandhu. Similarly, that's like a friend of a Brahmana.
It's some euphemism that's.
It's like a pejorative.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Right,
if
it's
there's
used
humor involved in it, or irony involved in it, or something. But it's literally, it means they're a friend of a Brahmana.
Friend
but
of a
not one
Brahmana, but not
themselves.
necessarily a Brahmana.
Yeah.
It's such a put down.
Okay.
What's up, you Brahmana
The
Bandhu? How you doing?
Bandhu.
Friend of a Brahmana?
Yeah, friend of a Brahmana.
It's so called.
Okay.
Didn't they call Ashvatthama a Brahmana Bandhu?
Ashvatthama. They may have.
In the first canto?
Yeah, perhaps.
Similarly, if a Sudra acquires the qualities of a Brahmana, right? Because Ashvatthama's father was a Brahmana.
Yes.
Similarly, if a Sudra acquires the qualities of a Brahmana, although he was born in a Sudra family, he's not a Sudra because he has developed the qualities of a Brahmana. Boom, that blows it open right there.
He should
He
be
should be accepted as a Brahmana.
So it works both ways, up and down.
You can go up, you can go down in this world by
Yeah.
your
Merit.
activities,
Yeah.
by your merit. Yes, meritocracy. The Krishna consciousness movement is meant to develop these Brahminical qualities.
Very important point.
which may or may not include eating mushrooms. Regardless of the community in which one was born, if one develops the qualities of a brahmana, he should be accepted as a brahmana, and he then may be offered the order of sannyas. Unless one is qualified in terms of the Brahminical symptoms, one cannot take sannyas. In designation, a person, a brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, or sudra, birth is not the essential symptom. This understanding is very important. Herein, Narada Muni distinctly says that one may be accepted according to the caste of his birth if he has a corresponding qualifications, but otherwise he should not. One who has attained the qualifications of a brahmana, regardless of where he was born, should be accepted as a brahmana. Similarly, if one has developed the qualities of a sudra or a chandala, regardless
or a mushroom eater,
or a what?
Mushroom eater.
Or a mushroom eater, regardless of where he is born, he should be accepted in terms of that very high position.
In terms of those symptoms, thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 7th canto, 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled
I don't know.
The Perfect Society for Social Classes.
Ooh, all
All
right.
right.
What time is it? 7:59.
It's time to
Just
check in with
in
Linda.
time. Linda,
Hey.
come on down. We didn't quiz at all.
I know. Thank you, Prabhu. I
Okay, I'll
appreciate
quiz you
your
now.
mercy.
There's three. There's
Thank you for your
loads of-
mercy.
frozen.
Uh-oh. Is Raghunath freezing up?
Oh, is he freezing up? Okay, you go ahead, Linda. Let's
It's a
hear
good time
the
for takeaways.
takeaways. Yeah,
I've got a few good ones today.
good.
So, first, my true happiness is something within me, so my needs aren't at the expense of others.
Very good.
If everyone's not playing their roles, it all falls apart.
That's the point. Everybody's got to play their role, and then it works.
Yes. Drops can feed and floods can extinguish.
Got that, Raghu? Maybe what you should do is just like over the course of this weekend, just eat so many
mushrooms.
Yeah. that you'll never want to eat them again.
Birth shapes us, but doesn't confirm our qualifications.
Okay.
You know, there's a restaurant in New York that is exclusively mushrooms.
Really?
Everything is mushrooms.
What's it called? Shrooms?
I'm not sure. Mara sent me the link.
Okay.
Stuff isn't worth anything.
Stuff.
Ooh,
isn't
stuff
worth
is not worth anything. You like that one,
Interesting.
Kastuba? That's a great T-shirt. Stuff is not worth anything.
Well, maybe it should be stuff ain't worth nothing. How about that?
I
like that.
That's
A little
I like
stronger, right?
Yeah.
that. Nothing plus
And-
nothing leaves nothing.
But you gotta
You gotta
have
have something if you want to be with me.
Well, maybe I don't. Ever thought of that?
I never thought of that. Nothing plus nothing equals nothing. You gotta have something. That's a
Who's
funny song.
saying that? Who's
I
saying that?
never-
song?
Who sang it? I have no idea who sang that.
Billy
song.
Preston.
I have no idea.
Who's Billy Preston?
A singer of AC/DC? I don't know.
Oh, Raghu, no. Billy Preston sang with the Beatles.
Everyone's
He sang
losing
with a
their
lot
mind.
of people, but he sang with the Beatles and George Harrison a lot. You know, he was there always backing up George Harrison.
No, I
was
never
singing his-
listened to music. I played the violin. I listened to classical music. Then I listened to Sex Pistols. Boss. That's it.
How did it degrade so rapidly?
Degrade.
Okay, let's get back on track
From
with the
classical music to
final,
the Sex Pistols. I mean, come on.
Continue on.
the final takeaway. And
Wait a second. Before we get there, hot seat for Linda. Name the
no.
3 gunas in Sanskrit and English.
Sattvic, Rajas, and Tamas.
Okay.
pretty
So you got the
pretty
hard
pretty
part.
good.
Goodness, passion, and ignorance.
Boom.
All right, good. You're doing
Thank
good
you
today.
for going easy on me, Prabhu.
It's okay. Tomorrow we're gonna take it up a notch.
Okay. And
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 sometimes God tags a person, a podcast, or a Pakora.
ooh,
he works in many ways.
person podcast pro course. Come on, you guys, get over here. Say goodbye to everybody. We got the Bombay Girls. We got Brooke from Harmony Collective.
There they are.
There you are. Yes, this is what we do. It's just singing. And remember when the whole entire podcast used to dance at the end? Everyone's become
dancing.
lazy, and now they're sort of like Yeah, no, everyone's just sort of like, yeah. It was like a whole. If listen to or watch the YouTube videos of the early podcast at the end, it would be like a dance party. Now I got like Clifford Dean just looking at the computer screen. Yep, yeah, there you go. Shanaz Om is like in silent meditation over there. Now I've shamed Maya to dance. You see, she's shame dancing right now. And Greg DeGase is just sort of like nodding like he's on Wonderama. Remember Wonderama?
Not so much.
Oh, come on. Saturday morning Wonderama.
The name is kind of ringing a bell, but I can't remember at all what it was.
It was a kids like game show on Sunday for if you were in the New York, New Jersey area, Connecticut area. Amy Stellar. I'm old. Ava Maria loved Wonderama. Thank you. And she's dancing. Okay, you guys. Well, I got the Bollywood dancers behind me here.
Nice. Okay.
It's a beautiful day for a beautiful day. Let the magic continue to flow, and a Maha Harry Bowl to everybody.
Let it flow.